Lechem, everybody. Hope you're all having an amazing day. Today I want to speak about the idea of from Moses to Mashiach, from Moshe Rabbeinu to Mashiach. So what does this mean? What's this idea? That since the Torah was given to Moses by the Creator, in every generation following that, we've had a Moses of the generation. And that there's an unbroken chain of leaders of the generation that will lead up until the coming of the Messiah, the Mashiach. So this shows how direct our connection to the Creator is in terms of the revelation, the giving of the Torah, is that in every generation we have a Moses of the generation. Not only just a person who's like the Moses, but rather these people, their souls are sparks of Moshe. It's true that their revelation wasn't as great as Moses's was. They didn't see a revelation of God to the same extent of Moses, but nonetheless, the Torah teaches us that all the great Kabbalists, the Arizal and all Chassidus and the Zohar tells us that these people, their neshamas are sparks of Moses' neshama, and they are the Moses of the generation, clearly. And examples of this is that, first of all, a good source for this is in the Rambam's Mishnah Torah, and that in the beginning, if you literally just go to the beginning of Mishnah Torah of the Rambam, in the first couple of chapters, he talks about this unbroken chain of Moshe Rabbeinu's from Moshe until modern times. So obviously, like, Rambam lived 1,000 years ago, but it shows you the unbroken chain, at least the first 40 people of it. And so example of this is that after Moses, who took over after Moses? Yoshua. Yoshua was the top student of Moses, and Moses taught him a lot. He was always by Moshe's side, and Moshe blessed him, and he had a Moshe-like personality, a Moshe-like neshama, that he was able to direct the Jewish people in wherever they went. And after Yoshua was Pinchas, and after Pinchas was Eli HaKohen, if I'm not mistaken, and then after that was Shmuel Hanavi, and then David. So we see that obviously then it goes further and further, but there's a Moshe of every generation. And I want to speak a little bit more about this idea of the tzaddik. What is a tzaddik? What is a Moshe of the generation? As you know, that the tzaddik is compared to the head of the people, and the head includes the entire body, and the head gives life to the entire body. And the head, just like if there's a problem with the brain, it could chas v'shalom cause a problem with the body. And within the brain includes the whole body, in the sense that the brain directs the life of the body, the oxygen, the blood, the water, the digestion. All of it is being controlled by the brain. So too the tzaddik is the brain of our people, and he gives us life. Why? Because he helps us connect to Hashem. A tzaddik is a person that even when he comes down into this physical world, his understanding, his realization of Hashem's presence as it's revealed above, he retains that awareness down here. As the average person, when he comes down into this world, he loses a sense. Obviously, his neshama, still the innermost part of his neshama, is always at that level. But in his conscious reality, he loses his consciousness of Hashem's greatness, of the obvious reality of Hashem's presence, and he has to relearn it through the Torah. But at tzaddik, as he comes down to the world, he doesn't lose that realization. In fact, he comes down to this world as he is above. So he doesn't need to come in this world for his own tikkun, for his own rectification, for his own mission. Rather, the tzaddik comes into this world to help us, to give us life. And he gives life to us. Why? Because he teaches us how to connect to Hashem. And so too in every generation we have those people. And to give you more examples of these type of people, we learned about Mordechai is considered the Moshe of his generation. So later on we see Eliyahu Hanavi, and we see later on the Rambam, whose name is Moshe. He taught us he revealed to the world the Mishnah Torah, the explanations of the Torah, the oral Torah compiled, and that. So and then we have later on the Baal Shem Tov, and of course the Arizal, and there's obviously countless people, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. I could go on forever just naming people, but these people are Moshe-like figures of the generation. And it's not to say that they're just like Moshe, but rather the Torah teaches us, the Zohar, the Kabbalah attests to this, that their neshama is a spark stemming from the general neshama of Moshe. And it's true that things weren't revealed like Har Sinai to the same extent, but nonetheless, these people have the neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu in the generation. Obviously, maybe tailor-made for the generation. As you know, There's many different sparks in neshamas. If you're familiar with the ideas of Gilgulim, reincarnation, that different neshamas have different sparks, and this person's we teach this person has the nefesh of this person, the ruach of the other neshama. So I don't want to go into all these details, but to know that these people have Moshe-like neshamas spawning from the spark of Moshe's neshama. And to go to this, that Moshe Rabbeinu was given the oral Torah. Hashem obviously gave him the Torah, and he was up there for 40 days and 40 nights. And what was he doing up there? Hashem was explaining him the oral Torah, all the details of the Torah. In order to fully understand the Torah, we need the oral Torah, because if you read the Torah, what does it say? It says you have to bind signs upon your arms and upon your hearts and between your eyes. It's a very vague verse. How could a person know that that's tefillin? But everyone puts on the same tefillin. All Jews put on the same tefillin. And we found tefillin from years ago, thousands of years ago. How is it that from that verse we understand that means tefillin on the arm and between, and not technically between the eyes, but on the head between the eyes? Because Moshe explained it to us. Because Hashem explained all the details of the Torah to Moshe, and therefore Moshe passed it down to Yoshua, passed it on to Pinchas. It's been passed on from not only just the leaders, but the people themselves were taught this, and they passed it on to their people, to their children and descendants and students. So this shows us the true direct source of the Torah we're learning nowadays in 5781, how it's directly from Moshe, which is directly from the Creator. Because we know that the Torah itself is dependent on the oral Torah, which was also given to Moshe on Har Sinai. So we see that since there's a Moshe of every generation who's not here for his own mission, but rather he's here for the people. So through that we understand that we're in that Hashem puts us in good hands. Hashem puts the tzaddikim in this world to take care of us. And when we listen to the tzaddikim, they help connect us to Hashem, because they're already very close to Hashem. It's like I heard a nice analogy that a tzaddik is considered like the son of the king. So if you're listening to the son of the king and you're on good terms with the son of the king and you're listening to what he's saying, so you're closer to the king, because the son himself is very close to the king. So by listening to him, by virtue of that, you become close to the king. And this will be, of course, completed by the coming of the Moshe of our generation, the Mashiach. May it be revealed now, and obviously the Mashiach will complete the job, and he'll be at the highest level of prophecy, right under Moshe in prophecy, and he'll be on such a high level, he'll bring a revelation of God greater than what Moshe saw, and he'll teach Torah. It says that the Mashiach will teach Torah to the Avos, to the forefathers. Could you imagine the Mashiach will teach Avram Avinu, Yitzchak Avinu, and Yaakov Avinu Torah? So what level does he need to be on to be able to teach that? You can only imagine what level he needs to be on to teach the Avos Torah. So may it be today. May Hashem bless you.